Okay, we're going to start this event off right now. So I'm going to welcome all you veterans here on Veterans Day. So anyway, I'm really pleased to be here. My name is Joe Loya. I'm on the committee with the Veterans Day Luncheon Committee to put this on, and I'm very proud to do this here. I want to make a couple thank yous here. So I want to thank Uptown for letting us have all this property for 24 hours so we can set this up. So it's very much appreciated that they gave us this property to use. It's a very busy place. Also, too, I wanted to let you know that we are listening to KGHP FM 89.9 and 105.7. And if you go to those channels, you'll be able to hear this broadcast loud. So anyway, we're also going to be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you go to Gig Harbor Veterans Day, you'll be able to get the link to get in and see that. And then you can share that YouTube later on with your outfits, the Navy, Army, and everybody that's here. And next, I'm going to introduce our MC, a very special person, and I've been able to work with her over the last few weeks getting this off. And she does the Harbor Chat for KGHP FM in the city. She's also a city council person, Robin Denson.
Well, jeepers, Joe. Look at this swell studio audience out here. Welcome, everyone, to Gig Harbor. Well, that on. Just a moment. Jeepers. Are we good? Okay. I'm a little nervous now. Welcome to Gig Harbor's Veterans Day celebration, 40s radio show broadcast coming to you live on KGHP FM. We're broadcasting at 89.3, 89.9, 105.7, and worldwide on kghp.org. I'm Robin Denson, host of Harbor Chat on KGHP, and I'm just thrilled to be with you today as we honor this sacrifice our veterans have made for our country. Now, you may be checking your watch and thinking, isn't this radio show supposed to start at noon? Well, you're absolutely right, but we had so many terrific veteran groups to recognize that we decided to do a pre-show so that everyone has their opportunity to grandstand. Throughout our show today, we are fortunate to have live music by two first-class acts. The Signature Brass Ensemble, led by Army veteran Manny Garcia. Can we hear a little trill, Manny? Go ahead and play us a little tune. Just a couple notes. That was just swell, Manny. I knew he could do it. We also have the Tahoma Brass, America's first corps band from Joint Base Lewis McChord, led by Staff Sergeant Kaloje. Can we have a few notes? Woo! Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we are going to kick things off by welcoming to the stage Colonel Ron Prine of the Peninsula Veterans Honor Guard. Mr. Prine? Wonderful. The Peninsula Veterans Honor Guard was formed by local veterans from all branches of our military service. These gentlemen and ladies have been gathering since 2001 to provide full burial honors for anyone who has served in our military. Mr. Prine is a former Air Force colonel. Welcome, Colonel Prine.
Thank you.
I'm going to have Jasper here, my stagehand, hand you a mic.
Is it on? It is on. There we go. Thank you. Well, as Robin mentioned, I'm the commander of the Peninsula Veterans Honor Guard. And in the packet you received today, you should get a trifold brochure that looks like this, which describes our duties and commitments, along with some other useful information. As you probably know, every veteran and his spouse is entitled to burial at a national cemetery. Tahoma National Cemetery, located near Covington, Washington, is one of 4 national cemeteries located in the state of Washington. The Department of Defense is responsible for providing full military honors for any veteran that asks for them. But unfortunately, with the reduction in military strength and the increased demand for active duty personnel, the military services are unable to provide full services at any particular time. And this is where we come in. The Peninsula Veterans Honor Guard is a veterans service organization, and our primary duty is to perform full military honors for our fellow veterans being interred at Tahoma. Which brings me to the reason I stand before you today. Our ranks are diminishing, and we are seeking veterans who are willing and able to join our team so that we can perpetuate this service to our fellow veterans. The initial cadre of our team formed in 2001, but as time goes on, these veterans have become unable to travel and perform their duties. While the physical demand is not onerous, it does require a little bit of mobility to perform duties throughout the day. Our team is committed to Tahoma National Cemetery on the fourth Thursday of every month. The ceremonies are only scheduled for 30 minutes, so they don't last very long. These are committal services and not funeral services. Upon commencing military honors, our rifle team fires a 3-volley rifle salute. Taps is sounded by the bugler, and the full flag is folded for presentation to the family. Our duty day can have as few as 3 or as many as 10 services on any particular time, depending on cemetery schedule. We aren't all work and no play. Typically, we join at a local watering hole after our service day, tell a few war stories over liquid refreshments and some pub grub. We also gather for a couple of hours a week to clean rifles and tell some more stories. And then in non-COVID days, we gather once a month for breakfast and a business meeting. All formations, of course, are voluntary, and you might find that after you get acquainted, you look forward to the camaraderie and the satisfaction of being a part of a team that gives of themselves for the greater good. All in all, we are in the company of fellow veterans who share a common thread. We are dedicated to the belief that a veteran should be laid to rest in the manner in which he so deserves. Obviously, there's no financial compensation. The reward is self-satisfaction of giving back to the country that we proudly served, representing a grateful nation and recognizing our fellow veterans for their service to our country. So I'd like to leave you with one final thought today. When your time comes to be laid to rest, wouldn't you like to be honored for your service to our country? And if the answer is yes, then please consider joining us. And the contact information is listed in the trifold brochure that I mentioned earlier. Thank you. We'd love to welcome you aboard.
Thank you so much, Colonel Prine. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the reactions that you've heard from the families after the burials?
Well, there's no greater reaction than when a dependent or a wife or a son or a daughter comes up to you afterwards, shakes your hand and says, thank you for a very wonderful job. It's just exactly the way our father or husband would have wanted it in that regard. So, and also along with that, they always say, thank you very much for your service. That's all the reward we need.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Colonel Prine, and for your service and for all you do for the veterans and their families. If anyone out there in Radio Land is interested in joining the Peninsula Veterans Honor Guard, remember it's just a once-a-month commitment.
Yes, once a month, that's correct.
Uniforms are provided, and of course you follow all the latest COVID protocols.
That's absolutely.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
Now, here in Gig Harbor, we have a very active American Legion post, Post 236, and we are honored to have with us today Mr. Ken Christian, the Post 236 adjutant. Ken Christian is a Navy veteran, and again, he's the Post 236 adjutant and assistant adjutant for the state of Washington. Welcome, Mr. Christian.
Thank you. The department commander, Robert Clark, and our department adjutant, Jesse Horton, were supposed to be here today. However, they are quarantined due to COVID-19. We've been asked to talk about what and who is the American Legion. Simply put, it's veterans helping veterans, their families, and the communities where we live. And American Legion started in 1919, and we just celebrated our 100th anniversary. Way back then, they knew that those at home had no idea what the World War I vets went through. The American Legion was chartered by the Congress in 1919 as a patriotic veterans organization. It is the largest in the United States, and we do a lot to promote youth programs, oratorical speech contests. That's one where
That's okay.
Students from local high schools go to a contest where they talk about the Constitution. They can talk 5 to 10 minutes, no help, no iPads, no key cards. It's all by memory. And if you've ever listened to these kids talk, there's hope for us overall. Once again, the American Legion also promotes protection of our American flag. We were instrumental in bringing on the flag code, and we still continue to
Tell Jasper.
still continue to fight for Old Glory. Overall, we have so many programs. You have the Sons of the American Legion, which we also have our Riders program. Veterans that love to ride motorcycles get on board, and they do so much. The Legacy Run is probably one of the biggest ones. They raise millions of dollars for kids for college after 9/11. When we all talk about working together between the Legion, the SAL, the Riders, and our auxiliaries, there's nothing we can't do. Past National Commander Denise Rohan, who is our first female National Commander, always said family first. She still believes that to this day. You can call her up and say, Denise, what do you think about this? Is it family first? Yes, then do it. And on that note, once again, the department commander, Robert Clark, Jesse Horton, our department adjutant, and on behalf of Post 236, we'd like to say thank you for your service to all the veterans that are here and for the families that supported those veterans. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Adjutant Christian. And I understand we also have here with us today the first Vice Commander of Post 236, Joe Gallagher, who is going to be doing a Vietnam pin ceremony. Welcome to the studio, Vice Commander Gallagher.
Can you hear me? Yeah, good.
Perfect.
I could do it with the Irish whisper. Morning, everybody. My name is Joe Gallagher. I'm the Vice Commander for Post 236 here in Gig Harbor. And today I'm going to be presenting the 50th anniversary commemoration of the end of the Vietnam War pin to some of our veterans here in Gig Harbor. 50 years ago in 1967, nearly 500,000 American troops served in South Vietnam, along with approximately 85,000 troops of our allies. During this commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we embrace our responsibility to help our Vietnam veterans and their families heal from the heavy toll of war. We remember more the more than 58,000 whose names are memorialized on the black granite wall in our nation's capital for having borne the heaviest cost of war. We also pay tribute to the brave patriots who suffered as prisoners of war, and we stand steadfast in our commitment not to rest until we account for the 1,253 heroes who have not yet returned to American soil. To ensure the sacrifices of 9 million heroes who served during this difficult chapter of our country's history, the President signed into law the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017, designating March 29th of each year as the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Throughout the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, there will be 2 ceremonies in Gig Harbor, or an opportunity for 2 ceremonies to provide this pin to Vietnam veterans. So therefore, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and by the virtue of authority vested in the President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, he hereby confirms the commitment of the nation to the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And with that, I'm going to present this pin to 3 known Vietnam-era gents that are in the, apparently, they're at least in the radio audience. They may even be in the crowd. So those individuals' names are Mr. Steve Pinza, United States Air Force. Are you here, sir?
I'm sure he can hear you out there in the radio audience.
Okay. Bob Sovereign, United States Marine Corps. Is he out there? Do you see?
Oh, he's over there.
There he is. There he is. Hoorah, sir. Happy birthday to you. And Mr. Bill Spinn, United States Navy. He's out there apparently. Apparently, Mr. Bill Spinn is sporting dolphins, so I have, besides welcome home, Mr. Spinn, I also like to say to you, submarines once, submarines twice. And with that, I do have some pins that I could hand out to Vietnam-era vets, and they could come on over here to our booth, and we'll be glad to sign you up in the American Legion here in Post 236. And parents, with this COVID thing going on, we can offer you some real patriotic programs and the study of the Constitution. So please stop by our booth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Vice Commander Gallagher. Clearly, Post 236 of the American Legion provides so many wonderful programs for our veterans and their families. Now a word from an organization founded right here in Gig Harbor. Dirk Erickson is here to represent the Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation. Dirk joins us over by the Missing Man table. And Dirk, why don't you tell us a little bit about this amazing organization and about the Missing Man table?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day and thank you all for your service. I'm truly humbled to be able to address you today as I hold the warriors that went before me in the highest regard. I'm fully aware of the comforts I had access to while serving that none of you even dreamed of. But still, we share a bond that no one else will understand. I'm a student of history, so it gives me great pride to be addressing so many of the giants on whose shoulders I stood while I wore the uniform. Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation, and we're proud to be a sponsor of today's event. We're hosting the remembrance table that you see here. A little bit about the table. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing members and friends. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when asked to serve in any capacity. The single rose is red, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the lives of these Americans and their loved ones and friends who keep the faith that their service was noble and honorable. The yellow ribbon symbolizes our continued uncertainty, hope for the return of those who are still missing. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate, captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers why they were taken. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us tonight. The chair is empty. They cannot sit with us today. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope that lives in our heart to illuminate their place on this earth. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain us and never forget their dedicated presence. We're headquartered here in Gig Harbor. We were founded 11 years ago by Leslie Main with a mission to provide services and training for our military and first responders, namely those of us who have experienced traumatic events. The foundation has quickly become one of the preeminent and fastest growing foundations in America with this focus. We just moved into a beautiful new office overlooking the harbor downtown. There will be a ribbon cutting ceremony for the office on December 1st at 5 p.m., and we'd be honored for you all to be there. We host a monthly huddle for veterans and our first responders on the last Wednesday of every month at our offices. Slightly adjusted during the holiday season, second to last Wednesday, November and December. There are typically north of 40 attendees, and we grill up fresh food and spend a couple hours having roundtable discussions about whatever is on our minds or bothering us. Peer counseling in its purest form. Come for the camaraderie, stay for the ribeye steaks. The foundation provides all food and drinks, and they feed us well. The huddles have been a godsend for me on multiple levels, and I encourage any of you to please come by and share your wisdom or your troubles, ideally both. We also host multiple events throughout the year. I presume many of you are familiar with the Race for a Soldier held every fall in the harbor here. We also do a golf tournament every summer called Swing for a Soldier. We have a trap shooting competition every spring called Pull for a Soldier at the Gig Harbor Sportsman's Club. And our annual prayer breakfast, which is held the day before the Race for a Soldier, which I implore you to check out next year if you've never been. It's a beautiful event that includes famous speakers from all over the country and powerful prayers for our veteran community. There's also wonderful live music and delicious food, so you will leave with both your soul and your belly well nourished. In the most exciting news, we've just partnered with the Boulder Crest Foundation out of Virginia to expand and provide their cutting-edge and widely hailed treatment known as Warrior Path right here in the Northwest. PATH stands for Progressive and Alternative Training for Healing Heroes, and it is revolutionary on multiple levels. The training program was put together by multiple leading experts who understood that we need to harness and embrace our tribulations instead of running from them. Our experiences that cause post-traumatic stress make us much too valuable to society for us to simply pretend they didn't happen. This program is 18 months long and begins with a week-long intensive in-person training where you get to meet and bond with your fire team. This week is immensely transformational, but just from the brief training and the tools you leave with. But over the next 18 months, you stay in constant contact with your team and your teammates as you complete the remainder of the training curriculum at home. The program helps warriors reframe their struggles as strengths and gives us the tools to thrive of what we've been through, not in spite of it. It is universally praised as breakthrough treatment, and I can personally attest to its efficacy. I attended my week-long initiation at their Arizona location, but now our Northwest Warriors can receive this training right here on the Olympic Peninsula, thanks to this new partnership and the tireless efforts of Leslie Main and the rest of the foundation. This will also greatly increase the number of warriors who can receive this cutting-edge training. There's plenty of information about all these events and programs on our website, which is ptsdfoundation.org, but please feel free to swing by our office if you want to hear more. Thank you all again for your service and for being here today. I look forward to meeting all of you at one of our future huddles or events. And God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Erickson. The PTSD Foundation is helping so many of our veterans, and we are so, so very appreciative. Our community clearly respects and appreciates military service, so I'm just thrilled to share with you that our very own Peninsula School District is offering a new Navy ROTC program. And here's school board member Natalie Wimberly to give us a quick preview of the program on the silver screen.
Natalie Wimberly. I'm currently serving on the school board for the Peninsula School District, and I am so very excited to share with you the news that we will be opening a Navy Cadet Corps program right here in the Peninsula School District. Many of you are familiar with junior ROTC programs, and this is essentially the same deal. Same uniform, same curriculum, same competition opportunities, but more importantly, this will allow the students of the Peninsula School District the same opportunity to participate in a program that focuses on service before self, developing strong character, building leadership skills, and working together as a team. I would love to be able to present this new program to our community at your Veterans Day program, because I think linking two of our most treasured populations, our veterans and our students, will be the start of a bond that will become very strong and very special in our community. Thank you so much for considering squeezing us into your already jam-packed program, and thank you so much for everything you do to really support this community.
Thank you, Ms. Wimberly. We are so excited about this new Navy ROTC program. I just want to give a quick reminder to all of those out there in our studio audience. We're so appreciative of having you here today, but I will remind you that if you're sitting in your car, you can hear everything that's going on over the radio, including whenever we show programs on the silver screen or those moving pictures people talk so much about, and you might be a whole lot warmer. So just a quick reminder to all of you standing about. We're so happy to hear you, have you with us. And here is a swell treat for all of you who are here today. We are going to be giving away an American flag that was flown over our United States Capitol all the way over in the other Washington. Thank you so much to Representative Derek Kilmer's office for securing 2 of these genuine American flags. Now, you'll find a raffle ticket stapled to the program that you were given when you drove in here today. And in just a jiffy, Gig Harbor Veterans Day co-chairs Jill Guernsey and Pat Schmidt will draw the winning ticket for this beautiful flag. But first, let's take a quick moment to thank Jill and Pat for all their work on this amazing event today. Can we get some honks? Thank you so much, and thank you, Jill and Pat, for all of your work putting this whole production together and letting KGHP be a part of it all. Now, if your ticket is called, why don't you give us 3 honks and wave a flag out your window, and we'll bring you your new, genuine American flag. Army Band, could we get a drum roll, please? And what is the winning number?
The number is 548-3597. 548-3597.
One more time.
548-3597.
Wonderful. I hear we have a winner out there. Keep waving your flag out your window, and we will have one of our amazing studio hands run that flag right on out to you. Well, what a thrilling group of guests, and this is just a taste of what's to come. I believe we are right at the 12 o'clock hour, which is the time to start our main event show. And so we'll just have a quick song from the Signature Brass Ensemble to get us in the mood for the golden age of radio. And we'll see you right back here after this song. Thank you so much, Signature Brass Ensemble, led by Army veteran Manny Garcia. Well, Heidi-ho, Gig Harbor in the Key Peninsula, and welcome back to the Gig Harbor Veterans Day 40s radio broadcast, coming to you live on KGHP FM, broadcasting at 89.3, 89.9, 105.7, and live worldwide on kghp.org. Jeepers, what a great show we've had so far today, and we've only just begun. And it's so much in part to our swell studio audience. I'm your host, Robin Denson, who you might recognize as the host of Harbor Chat on KGHP FM, and I'm simply over the moon to be with you today. Veterans Day, as you know, honors all veterans who have served our country in times of war or peace. This is our opportunity to thank veterans for their sacrifices. Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day, commemorating the end of World War I on November 11th, 1918. This was the date when fighting ceased and an armistice between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Today, KGHP FM, along with a very special group of veterans and community supporters, are simply thrilled to bring you the Gig Harbor Veterans Day celebration 40s radio show style. Now, the 1940s was the golden age of radio, and we've got a gold standard show for you today. We even have our swell parking lot audience. And jeepers, do you hear that honking? That's just swell. Now, we're really going to be cooking with gas today. But before we get started, the fuddy-duddies wanted me to make a few announcements. For all of you splendid people in our studio audience, in your bags you'll find all sorts of information, including the radio station dial numbers. If you need to use the lavatories, they are located in the rear of our studio lot. And please, appreciated. Please remember to wear your mask, and wear your mask, please, anytime you're out of your car, and please give everyone lots of social distancing space for us today. Now, if you're at home, or perhaps you're one of our active duty men and women out serving our country today, you can watch this program live on Facebook or YouTube. Just Google Gig Harbor Veterans Day. And yes, this show will be recorded for your viewing pleasure later on. Now, our color guard today is from the 502nd Military Intelligence Battalion, 201st Expeditionary Military Intelligence Brigade, America's First Corps. The 201st Expeditionary Military Intelligence Brigade supports America's First Corps with all sorts of information, including human intelligence, electronic warfare intelligence, reconnaissance, and surveillance. The 201st is aligned with you and I right here in Gig Harbor. In fact, they help us get our downtown holiday tree every year. Already posted on stage are the flags for the Navy, founded in 1775. The Marines, also established in 1775. The Coast Guard, created in 1790. And the Air Force, founded in 1947. I'd like to now welcome the soldiers of the 502nd Military Intelligence Battalion to post the colors, including their Army flag, in honor of the Army, founded in 1975. Army, if I could get a drum roll, please. Now, for those of you in our audience, please sit tall in your seats. For those of you at home, please come to attention for our national anthem, sung to us today by musician second class Brenton Mitchell of the Navy Band Northwest. Mr. Mitchell, would you like to step on the stage?
Oh, say, can you see by by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. Let's give musicians second class Brenton Mitchell and the 502nd Military Intelligence Brigade a round of honks. For our invocation today, I would like to introduce you to Pastor Dan Comcia. Reverend Comcia earned a Master's of Divinity degree from the Lutheran School of Theology in Chicago and served as a pastor of Lutheran parishes in Washington, Oregon for over 20 years. Reverend Comcia has counseled active military and veterans for the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs PTSD program for 22 years. Welcome, Reverend Comcia.
Let us pray. Most gracious God, we give you thanks for this time together on this Veterans Day, your presence with us as we remember the veterans who have gone before us, whose lives have served through the history of all of our country. We give you thanks for them, and we cherish their memories. We also are here to give thanks to all the veterans who are here today and for their families and for their service to our country over the years. Thank you. And we're here to acknowledge that you are always with our military troops here at home and around the world. We give you thanks for that presence with them each and every day. And we acknowledge, too, that we are here to commemorate, to give thanks, to remember those veterans and their families. And we give you thanks for that. And we ask you to be with us as we continue this program and as we go from this place to continue our service in our homes and in our communities. Be with us, bless us in this time. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Comcia. Now, for this portion of our show, we need heaps of participation from our studio audience. We have highly esteemed speakers today representing all branches of our great military. As each of these men and women make their way to the stage, we'll be playing the official song of that branch. So if you served in that branch, or you know someone who did, or you just want to express your support, we want you to honk your horn, flash your lights, and wave your flags out your window. You'll be prompted by my talented stage assistants waving their cue signs. If you're watching at home on Facebook or YouTube, you can participate as well by hitting the like or love buttons to show your support. So let's give it a go. If you served in any branch of the military, or you know someone who did, and this should be all of you, honk your horns, flash your lights, and wave your flags to show your support. Very good troops, I think you are ready to give a proper tribute to these amazing servicemen and women. So let's make some noise for the Navy and welcome Captain Richard Reinhardt, Commanding Officer of Naval Base Kitsap. Captain Richard Reinhardt is the Commanding Officer of Naval Base Kitsap in Bremerton. He is responsible for managing, training, and including an organization comprised of thousands of military and civilian personnel in Washington, Alaska, Idaho, and British Columbia. Captain Reinhardt's at-sea experience includes 6 deployments and 5 strategic and fire patrols. And ashore, Reinhardt has served all over the country as well as in Europe. Prior to his current assignment, he served as the Assistant Chief of Staff for paramilitary and civil military cooperation at the NATO Allied Maritime Command in the United Kingdom. Good afternoon, Captain Reinhardt.
Good afternoon, Robin. Hello,
Thank you
everyone.
so much for joining us today live in our KGHP FM Veterans Day studio.
Boy, what a great program. It's really fantastic to be here.
Well, thank you. It means a lot for us to have you here. Now, Captain, you've had quite a career so far, and you're looking very spiffy today. Can you share with us a few highlights of your military service?
Boy, I've really been honored to serve in a lot of different capacities. I really enjoyed my time in command of a submarine. Really, nothing beats really going to sea and serving with the great men and women who serve in our submarine force. I also enjoyed my time serving overseas with our allies. I think representing America, working with them, working together with some challenging problems has really been rewarding. And then really in my current capacity as an installation commander, you really can't beat this job. Every single day, we're helping our military, our civilians, our families to really meet their military obligations as well as just, live life as part of the military family.
Wonderful. And I just have to ask, of all of the places you've lived in Europe, all around our great country, where is your favorite place to live?
Right here in Gig Harbor.
Good answer. Now, in this day and age, Captain, can you tell us why it is so important that we honor and respect our veterans?
Boy, Robin, there are so many different ways to answer that question. I think when I sit down and think about Veterans Day, I really think about our country, almost 250 years of history, and really all the veterans that have served and that have allowed us to be here today and to live in this great nation.
Thank you very much. Now, before you head off, I need your help. One of the members of our studio audience will leave here today with a spectacular American flag, compliments of Representative Kilmer's office. Now, this flag has flown over the United States Capitol building all the way in the other Washington. Now, Army Band, if you would give us a drum roll, please. And Captain Reinhardt, who is our lucky winner?
Our lucky winner is 548-3522.
If you would read that one more time, and if the winner's out there, never mind, I think that's it.
548-3522. We have a winner.
Perfect. And if our winner could wave a flag out the window, we will have a runner bring your flag right out to you. Thank you so much, Captain Reinhardt.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the veterans out there.
Now, next up, we've got a Joint Base Lewis McChord Colonel doing double duty, representing the Army and the Air Force. Now, we do have another Army speaker coming up in a few minutes, so we'll honor this guest with the Air Force song. Let's give a loud Gig Harbor welcome to Colonel Aaron Stain-Pine, 62nd Airlift Wing Commander, U.S. Air Force. Where are our Air Force supporters? Now, Colonel Aaron Stain-Pine is the commander of the 62nd Airlift Wing at Joint Base Lewis McChord. She ensures the readiness of more than 2,400 personnel, along with 40 C-17 aircraft to support worldwide combat and humanitarian airlift operations. Colonel Stain-Pine attended the United States Air Force Academy and the National War College. Her deployments included Operations Allied Forge, Joint Forge, Southern Watch, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom. My goodness, I hope folks out there are hearing my interview of these esteemed guests. Colonel Stainpine, it's such an honor to have you with us today.
Robin, thanks. It's an honor to be with you.
Could you give us just a quick overview of your military service?
Sure. I'm the daughter of an Army officer. I took my dad's advice, though, and went to the United States Air Force Academy, as you mentioned. I've had about 22 years of service. 14 assignments in 9 different locations. I've been fortunate to be assigned right here to Joint Base Lewis McChord twice in my career. I'm a combat pilot, about 3,500 hours, and I've served in 7 named operations and have about 8 deployments.
My goodness, you have had a lot of deployments. Can you share with us about one of your most intense experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first combat deployment was shortly after 9/11 happened. I was a C-130 pilot at the time, and we were tasked to take the Australian Special Forces into southern Afghanistan as we tried to take Kandahar. And so obviously my first time in a combat environment, and I remember being anxious, and I also remember feeling really well trained and ready to go. We waited for the order to go in, and yet once we got it, as you would expect, pure professionals, we executed almost perfectly and inserted the Special Forces into a dirt landing zone in southern Afghanistan, and the rest is history.
Wow, thank you so much. That's an amazing story, an amazing tribute to the professionalism of our Air Force. Now, today is all about honoring our veterans. So, Colonel Aaron Stainpine, what special skills or characteristics do you think that our veterans bring to our communities?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few things here. One thing is that a lot of people may not know is just how talented our airmen are. And so I'll have brand new airmen come into the service with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. They are an incredibly talented group of people. But even if they don't have that kind of education yet, they'll get it while a member of the Air Force. But they'll also get all of these other amazing skills that I think are required to be part of a community like this. They'll learn how to be disciplined. They'll learn how to have positive attitudes, and they learn how to just get things done. And also, when coming into a community like this one, we know how to integrate pretty well. We've moved a lot, and we know how to become partners in a community, how to advocate for our kids who go to your schools, how to become members of a local church. We love coming into a community, especially one like this that does so much for our military.
And it's so true. We are so fortunate here in the Gig Harbor Key Peninsula area to have so many residents that work at JBLM or up at Kitsap Naval Base Bangor. So thank you so much for all you do and for everything all of the Air Force does for our community. Now, before you leave, Colonel Stainpine, I would love your help in choosing the winner of a Star-Spangled Flag. I thought the audience might first like to take a gander at this unique flag. Now, the Star-Spangled Flag flew over Fort McHenry during the War of 1812. Seeing the flag flying after the battle ended, Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the poem Defense of Fort McHenry. This was set to music and later became the national anthem of the United States. This flag has 15 red and white stars and 15 red and white stripes and 15 white stars. The 2 additional stars and stripes represent Vermont and Kentucky's entrance into the Union. Now, if the Army Band could give me a drum roll, we'll have the good Colonel choose a ticket. And Colonel Stainpine, who is our winner?
The ticket number is 5483415. 5483415.
If the winner could give us a couple honks and wave a flag out the window. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Colonel Aaron.
Thank you, Robin.
We really appreciate it. Okay, now here's an instance where our Facebook and YouTube viewers are at an advantage. Tune in for a special moving picture message by Major General Retired Todd Bunting, representing the National Guard.
Greetings from Kansas to the people at the Veterans Day celebration in Gig Harbor. I'm honored to be with you today. I'm Major General retired Todd Bunning of the Kansas National Guard. I served my country for 32 years in the United States Air Force and the National Guard. I served in fighter, bomber, and tanker units, intel. I served all over the country with the tour in the Pentagon. I've been all over the world, in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kosovo, the Horn of Africa, Guantanamo Bay. I've been to Katrina and Rita, everywhere National Guardsmen go. We're always ready, always there, and I was proud to be a part of that. And my wife, who's also a veteran, was with me as we lived in 11 different places. I was asked to tell a funny story. I love to tell a story. So my story is, we're in the Horn of Africa, and that's a hard place. I'll just leave it at that. It's a hard place. And there was a specialist there, and I had seen him when we were in the jungles of Panama and when we were in Kosovo, where it was quite cold, and there we are in the Horn of Africa. And he finally comes up to me and he says, General, I got to ask you, are you ever going to send us somewhere nice? Because this place is not optimal. I'll just leave it at that. He didn't say that, but I'll just say not optimal. And I thought, and I said, young man, no, that's not why they have us. They send us to hard places where things are messed up, where people need our help to be able to live free or just to recover from storms or whatever else. So I know where we've been together, and if you and I are somewhere nice, chances are we're on vacation. So no, I'm never going to send you somewhere nice. And he shook his head and he said, yes, sir. He said, that's what my first sergeant said you would say. And I go, well, your first sergeant's a sharp guy. You should listen to him. And he goes, yes, sir. He told me that too, that he was a sharp guy and I should listen to him. So transitioning from being in service to a veteran has been challenging, but it's been a great time in my life. I've adapted to not everything starting on time. That was probably the hardest thing. I'm still in service like many of us are, because so many of our veterans had it way worse than I did. I was so fortunate. So I'm part of 2 veterans charities and first responder charities. I'm part of a healing and veteran training farm in Kansas, and do a variety of things to give back to the country. That's been so great to me. It's always great to be somewhere where people appreciate your service. Everywhere you go, no matter what branch of service or how long you're in, people thank you for your service. And I always tell them, thank them for being someone worth serving. And to all of my veterans, I always say what we have in common, regardless of our uniform, is that single act of bravery we all committed at some point in time in the past, which is the oath. We took that oath to serve and protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. After you took that oath, everything else you did was your job. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I, too, am proud to serve.
How very fortunate we are to have had Major General Bunting join us all the way from Kansas. In my opinion, though, nothing is as good as having a guest live in our 1940s radio studio. And here comes one now. All of my Marines out there, please help me welcome Larry Alcantara, Chair of the Governor's Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee, representing the few, the proud, the Marines. Now, Mr. Alcantara is the servant leader for Veterans Affairs. He is the chair of the Governor Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee, commander of the Leatherneck Honor Guard, and past commandant of the Puget Sound Detachment of the Marine Corps League. Alcantara, welcome and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about your time in the Marines?
Yeah. Right out of high school in 1965, I volunteered for the United States Marine Corps at the ripe age of 17. My first duty station was Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, where I served as military police, walking a beat in Jacksonville. My second year, I moved up north, New England states, to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I was the Corporal of the Guard cell block at the Navy prison. And my third year, I got my orders for Westpac. So I landed in Da Nang, and I was stationed about 15 miles south of Da Nang on the South China Sea near Marble Mountain. So I was there for 10 in 1968. It was an exciting time. I'll tell you, the experience in the Marine Corps, being a young man, I was always looking inward, kind of selfish. The Marine Corps taught me
that I could belong to something bigger. I could belong to a fraternity of warriors that defended the Constitution, that preserved our values and our heritage, and I'm proud to be here.
Wonderful. And would you say that that was your most significant takeaway from your military service?
The most important takeaway I had from the Marine Corps was a set of values that's guided me on my life's journey. So every decision in my life, I was able to fall back on what the Marine Corps taught me: honor, courage, and commitment. Honor means always doing what's right, even if no one's watching. And not only holding yourself to this behavior, but holding others to a standard of conduct. Courage is simply putting that honor into action. It always means doing what's right, not what's popular. Doesn't matter what other people are doing. You know right from wrong, make the right decision. And commitment, that's a dedication to excellence. Marines never settle for second best. We don't give up, we don't give in, and we never quit. So that's a standard you live by. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Thank you, Mr. Alcantara. Lastly, tell us a little bit about the Governor's Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee, and can you share with us any plans that you have to help our veterans in this great state?
Well, I've been volunteering in Veteran Affairs with the Marine Corps League around the Puget Sound region, and the opportunity came up to serve on the Governor's Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee. And what a wonderful opportunity. I was able to extend my reach from the Puget Sound to the entire state. There's some 600,000 veterans here in Washington State, and they have 2 million family members. And to be able to help improve the quality of life by connecting these veterans to their benefits was an opportunity that I cherish and I value. So Governor Inslee is very supportive of his state's veterans. And we had a sit down with him last week, and we told him that besides connecting veterans to their benefits, COVID-19, the emerging pandemic, has created some very unique challenges for our veterans. First, where veterans used to go in person for their VA appointments, for medical or counseling, these services have pivoted to a virtual platform. So you're losing that human contact, number one. Number two, many of our high-risk veterans in rural areas don't have smartphones. They can't afford them. They don't have broadband. They can't afford it. So now they're missing their medical appointments. They're missing their counseling. So this has had a predictable outcome. It's creating some mental health problems. So a couple of things the governor and the committee discussed is, let's increase donations of smartphones for veterans, help them get over that financial hardship. Also to make sure that the technology infrastructure expands access instead of restricts it. And of course, there's the issue of the veteran facilities, the local American Legion, the VFW, where veterans would usually go to socialize or to get help and services. Because of COVID, public gatherings have been severely restricted. That restriction means less people are going. People are fearful of gathering in public places. It's a two-edged sword. One, it isolates your veteran, but two, it creates a financial hardship on that veteran service organization. They're not making enough money to pay the rent or to keep the heat on. I already know of 5 American Legion halls that have closed, and I know some more American Legion halls that are ready to close permanently. So these are real hardships our veterans are facing. The governor is committed to mobilizing the network of mental health providers and make sure they're conducting outreach and going and helping our veterans where they need it. And we're also going to do a study and gather some information through our committee and see if we can't modify some of those stay safe initiatives.
Wow, Mr. Alcantara, it sounds like there's a lot of work to be done, especially in these difficult times, and thank you for all of your service and your work to help our veterans. Now, before you leave, we're going to send one of our lucky studio audience members home with a Betsy Ross flag. Let's give our audience a peek at this historic flag. Now, the Betsy Ross flag is said to have been created in 1770 by early American upholsterer and flag maker Betsy Ross. Its distinguishing feature is 13 five-pointed stars arranged in a circle representing the 13 colonies that fought for their independence during the American Revolutionary War. Now, Army Band, if we could get a drum roll, please. Mr. Alcantara, who is the winner of the Betsy Ross flag?
5, 4, 8, 3, 4, 4, 6. 5, 4, 8, 3, 4, 4, 6.
Thank you, Mr. Alcantara. If we could get some honks and wave a flag, we will have this very special flag delivered to your car. Now let's take a quick moment between guests to learn a little bit about who's in our studio audience today. I know we have lots of men and women who have served this great country. I'm going to list a number of wars. If you served or you have a relative who served during that war, honk your horn, wave a flag out the window, and flash your lights. But please wait till I'm done reading the entire list before you start honking so we can make sure to hear everyone. The American Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Bay of Pigs invasion, the Cuban Missile Crisis, Operation Urgent Fury, Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Battle of Mogadishu, the War in Afghanistan, the War on Terror, War in Iraq, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Let's hear some honks from all of you who have served in these operations. Thank you all for your service to this great country. Now, here's a special treat. Here's a special treat for all you coasties out there. Please join me in welcoming our very own Gig Harbor Chief of Police, formerly Bosun's Mate, 2nd Class, Kelly Busey. Chief Busey is a lifelong resident of the Kitsap Peninsula. He has been a career officer with the Gig Harbor Police Department after joining the force in 1991 as an entry-level police officer. He has served our department for 29 years. Prior to joining the police force, Chief Busey was a Bosun's Mate, 2nd Class in our United States Coast Guard. Welcome, Chief Busey. Wait a minute, that's not your Coast Guard uniform.
This is not my Coast Guard uniform, you're correct.
Well, you're looking spivvy anyway today, Chief Busey. Thank you for joining us. Now, Chief Busey, how long were you in the Coast Guard and what was your assignment?
So I look back fondly on only a 6-year enlistment in the Coast Guard, but during that time got to do a lot of really amazing things. So after some training on the East Coast, I ended up running the surf boats out at Westport, Washington here, and then up in Seattle, at Station Seattle, running the law enforcement and search and rescue boats out there. But I'm really more privileged to just draw attention to the hundreds of thousands that have served in the Coast Guard, all the way back to the Revenue Cutter Service that was formed back in 1790. And all those that have served in wartime conflicts around the world, World War I, D-Day and the Pacific Theater in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and just to really honor those veterans. So I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And my grandfather was a mechanic in the Coast Guard in World War II, so the Coast Guard holds a special place in my heart. Can you tell us about maybe one of your most memorable search and rescues?
Sure. So, yeah, lots of activity in this part of the country, a lot of boating activity and things like that, and was able to put myself into positions that really kind of challenged me a little bit to see how I could face those obstacles, and obviously go out in times that some boaters were in distress. But one that really was satisfying was a weekday summer evening, a sailboat race off of Seattle. A sudden squall storm came up, and several boats got dismasted, and Puget Sound got ugly very fast. And there was a family on a boat in particular that was they were kind of out of control, and it was kind of dangerous to approach the boat at first, and we had to talk them down, and I got to chat with them over the radio and get them to get their boat back under control. And I remember that when we got them safely back to the dock, just the appreciation and the relief on their face, that was made it all worth it.
I can't imagine how happy they were to see you all coming up to rescue them. Now, when you look back on your Coast Guard service, what did you take away from that experience?
Oh gosh, maybe a sense of perspective, in an orderly way of doing things, and obviously that time, that law enforcement, that search and rescue time, propelled me into yet another career of public service. So 30 years removed from the Coast Guard, and still kind of enjoy that sort of a feeling. So.
That's a very good point, and I imagine as police chief you might work with a number of men and women who are veterans. What special attributes do veterans bring to a job in public service to our community?
That's a great question, Robin. I'm very pleased that about half of our police force here are veterans, and when we receive applications from them, it tells me that they've been there and they've done that. They have a sense of calm, especially if they're in highly stressful operational positions. I know that when they face something on the street here, that they can process that in a logical and a safe manner.
Well, thank you so much, Chief Busey, and thank you for your service and for your continued service to the city of Gig Harbor.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's just swell that we have so many women serving in the military these days. So we welcome to our stage next our final speaker, Army veteran Alfie Alvarado, Director of the Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs. If you or someone you know loves the Army, Army Strong, let's make some racket. Alfie Alvarado serves as your director of your Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs. The department advocates for veterans and their families, and her agency also leads efforts to help servicemen transition seamlessly into Washington State's communities. Mrs. Alvarado was born in Puerto Rico and served 22 years on active duty, retiring as Command Sergeant Major of Madigan Army Medical Center and Troop Command at Joint Base Lewis McChord. Mrs. Alvarado is the recipient of the Army Legion Merit Medal and a member of the Military Order of Medical Merit. Mrs. Alvarado, thank you so much for joining us today.
I am delighted to be here with you today.
Could you tell us a little bit about your time in the Army?
I joined the Army in 1971, which was a little while ago, in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised there and joined the Army to see the world, serve the country, and be able to make a life for myself. 22 years later, I am at the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs, and now I am the director. My experiences with the Army, especially coming in the middle of the Vietnam War, I was a medic, but women medics could not serve on combat. You had to be a nurse to be able to serve in combat. So therefore, my job was to take care of our veterans who were wounded in military hospitals on CONUS inside of the United States.
Oh my goodness, what an experience. Now, another experience that a lot of folks always have questions about is boot camp. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in boot camp back in the 70s and how you got through it?
We have come a long way since 1971, when there was only one WAC company in the entire Army. And women, first of all, I did not touch a weapon until almost a year after coming in the Army, because women were not supposed to bear arms at that time. So part of the experience was how to put on makeup, how to walk, how to dress well, putting the book on your head and being able to be prim and proper. Well, again, we've come a very long way since then, and I am so glad to hear a woman pilot, combat pilot today, because we are capable of so many things and be able to fill all of the military occupational specialties that are available.
We have come a long way, and it really is to the benefit of our great country. Now, Ms. Alvarado, you work hard to help our veterans transition into our communities. What are some of the main challenges associated with those transitions, and how can our community help?
I will tell you that Washington State leads the country when it comes to being able to have a successful transition. When it comes to the State Department of Veterans Affairs, working with a lot of organizations, many of you right here, to be able to ensure that our military families have a safe landing when it comes to taking off from the military service. What worries us, especially during this pandemic, is the issue of homelessness. And right now, you know that there are provisions that allow people to be able to stay and be safeguarded from evictions. We're afraid that once those safeguards are off, that we're going to have some veterans experiencing significant issues with homelessness. So this is a call to action to our entire community to be able to, if you know of a veteran that may be experiencing issues, that you call your Department of Veterans Affairs. You look us up to make sure that the community can have their backs and therefore avoid for them to go into homelessness. That's something that is really important to all of us. So if you see something, do something, because your veterans are counting on you.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarado. That is a wonderful point, that we all need to do our part in taking care of the veterans, those who have served and sacrificed for our country. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Alvarado.
You're very welcome.
As we wrap up our program today, a tradition of the Gig Harbor Veterans Day celebration is to recognize our veterans' many, many years of service. I'm going to call out a range of years served, and if you've served at least the number of years that I call out, please honk once. Now, don't be shy, because we have a swell gift for the person left honking at the end, a historic Bennington flag. And here it is. The Bennington flag was used in the Battle of Bennington, August 16, 1977, by Vermont militia. Its distinguishing feature is the large 76, which of course is a reference to the previous year, 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Now, I know we've got some long-serving veterans here today, so we're going to start with 30 years of service. If you have served for at least 30 years, honk your horn. Okay, if you've served for at least 40 years, honk away. I know we have veterans that have served longer than that. But let's back up. How about at least 35 years? Okay, I hear 35 back there. How about 36 years? Okay, the individual that was honking for 35 years, you are awarded the Bennington flag. If you'll wave your flag out your window, then we'll have one of our wonderful state hands run that right out to you. We want to take a quick gander at two other very, very unique flags that one of our committee members, Joe Loya, brought with him today. The Space Force flag and the MIA flag. So Space Force, we'll give them just a moment to bring them forward. We're giving an opportunity to a few other wonderful volunteers that we have today to have a moment to display these flags for you. Now, coming forward, looks like we've got the Space Force flag almost ready to go. Now, Space Force is our 6th military service, the newest branch. The flag is derived from the elements of the Space Force seal, including the delta wing, globe, elliptical orbit, Polaris star, and star clusters. Thank you, ladies, for displaying the newest flag of our military, the Space Force flag. Now, opposite, we have a flag that I'm sure you'll all recognize, the Prisoner of War and Missing in Action flag. This is the only flag ever displayed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, where it stands today as a powerful symbol of America's determination to account for all U.S. personnel still missing and unaccounted for from the Vietnam War. Thank you, ladies, for displaying the flags. Now, this has been an amazing show, thanks to all of our speakers, our volunteers, and sponsors who helped make it possible. It's also due to our fabulous studio audience, so give yourself some honks. I've just heard that we have a World War II veteran who will be making his way to the stage. While he's doing that, I'd like to give some special thanks to our Gig Harbor Veterans Day Committee. A special thanks to the co-chairs of the committee, Jill Guernsey and Pat Schmidt, and all of the committee members who played unique and special roles in putting this event together. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to have Jasper hand you a microphone. Could you introduce yourself, sir?
I guess I can.
I think you'll have to, because this was a surprise for me.
I'm an old-time resident of Gig Harbor, and I went in World War II there. And when I grew up in Gig Harbor, I have to admit I knew everybody on Gig Harbor and the peninsula, but now I don't know anybody. Well, I'm getting pretty old, so, and memory fades, you bet. But anyway, I sure love to see this turnout. Thank you for doing it, and thank all of you for being here.
Well,
my pleasure.
Thank you for your service. And could you tell us your name, and were you in the Army or the Navy?
Okay, she wants my name.
I want a little details. This is very exciting.
My name is Wally Kornman, and I was, what was that? Oh, and I was in the Navy in the South Pacific through the whole war, so, and just getting old, but I've been pretty lucky so far. 20 days I hit 95, so I'm getting up there.
Woo!
So,
well, congratulations.
I thank you all. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to give a quick thanks to all of the members of our committee. John Shoemaker, Tom Stanfield, Chuck Meacham, Richard Janae, Jerry Walton, Wynn Fuchs, Missy Hill, Jason Emerson, Josh Sherwin, Spencer Abersold back at the KGHP-FM studio, Dan Gregory, Kent Strader, and a special thank you to a couple of folks. Joe Loya, who served as the radio show producer today, Jeannie Peterson, who coordinated all of our amazing volunteers, and Tina Shoemaker, who really kept our committee on track and on time, which was not an easy task. We also received a lot of help from our massive group of volunteers, the Kiwanis Club of Gig Harbor, Boy Scout Troops 70 and 20, the Gig Harbor and Key Peninsula High School Key Clubs, Interact Club from Peninsula High School, and I want to give special recognition to my #1 stage hands, Jasper Bragg and Julia Van. And of course, their crew of cue card sign wavers that have been holding up honking signs throughout the production. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Kiwanis Club of Gig Harbor, Penmet Parks, Uptown, Gig Harbor Rotary, the Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation, Subway, Starbucks, Safeway, Event Resources Gig Harbor, the Meacham Foundation, the Ben B. Cheney Foundation, Gig Harbor Chamber of Commerce, world's finest chocolate, and of course, KGHP FM. And I want to thank the owners of these beautiful cars that really lend a lot of ambiance to our studio. The 1940 Chevy Cabriolet convertible is owned by Gary Hughes, and the 1940 Ford Coupe is owned by Bob McCord. Thanks, both of you. Let's give all of our volunteers, sponsors, supporters, and of course our brilliant musicians some honks. We are winding up our production here. Thank you all for joining us for the KGHP 40s radio show broadcast for Veterans Day. At this time, I'm going to ask the Signature Ensemble to play taps.
Manny, they want us to play taps right now.
Okay, here we go. One,
Thank you to the 502nd Military Intelligence Battalion Color Guard for retiring our colors today, and to the Signature Ensemble for playing taps. Well, we welcome back to the stage Reverend Comsia for our benediction.
Gracious God, we give you thanks for this day, remembering all that have heard the call and have served our country with honor and valor and dignity. And yet we hear another call, a call from you, a call that's every day, that as we go from this place, we go back to our homes, we go back to our communities, and we serve you, gracious God, by serving those around us. We go in your peace. We go to serve. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Comsia. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. Happy Veterans Day. And this is Robin Denson of KGHP FM signing off.